family like our family.
Sports Day is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
The end of the bat into left center field. That gets the job done. Lux bolting home, and Shohei Ohtani has followed Mookie Betts with an RBI single of his own.
This wasn't like a destination that I really wanted. Like I circled on the calendar and say, hey, I want to do this one day, but I'm very grateful and very happy I got to.
They're hitting the ball really well this year. They're competing, and so the conference is up in the air. It's up to anybody, whoever shows up on any given day. We've got to just come out, play Barton softball like we have been, take care of business, and we'll be okay.
Clifford skips it near side. Strong's 3-0. Offensive rebound. Clifford strong to the left.
He was like at the top of the scouting report. Had a big picture of coaching with the scout, referred to him as their Caitlin Clark. I don't know that he could have given a better description, but like, hey, the fellas, we got to find this young fella. And
Kevin will not play. We shut him down for the tournament. If we're close enough to win 2 games, we would have done it without him. He had practice 6 weeks. Bo Nix, I think either going to the Denver Broncos makes all the sense in the world. Sean Payton, I think we'll see a lot of Drew Brees in Bo Nix at pick number 12. Bo Nix will be there. It could be a real good pick. Broncos. And it's just an exclamation point for how far these leagues are ahead of everybody else. If Clemson and Florida State do end up leaving, and again, they haven't left, this is essentially a declaration of free agency for them. But if they do leave, the only team last years is TCU of the Big 12. Every other playoff participant will be in a Power 2 league.
And welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM, the talk of the town, Hub Day edition of the Trading Post, the Sports Day program. I just see Hesh's arm, man, I think of the Trading Post show. Hey, welcome into the program today. We've got a good show lined up. We're going to talk Barton basketball, longtime Barton basketball fan, former color analyst for Cougar games, and current Barton Board of Trustees member Mike Johnson is going to come in. We'll look back at some of his favorite Barton round ball memories, get his thoughts on this year's team that will begin play in the NJCAA National Tournament as the number 1 overall seed on Monday at 2:30, as they will take on either Walters State or Daytona State. Also on the show today, Mike Corson goes on the with Panthers softball coach Carrie Minton in for the first time this spring. She's also bringing 4 seniors with her: Paige Thexton, Haley Post, Riley Prilling, and Kaylee Sheets. So that's what's on the show. Of course, we always like to get started here with the sounds of the past 24 hours or so. You know, fantasy baseball season is underway, and I hate this because none of my guys were even on the field today. None of them. In fact, I didn't even suit him up. I just let the Hunter Huntsman go out there and have his way. Although Fernando Tatis Jr. went 0 for 4, he also got a hold in the game. So I'm down 5-0 here, and I haven't even taken the field yet. So
where's the spoiler alert? I was like, I'm going to get home today. I'm going to watch opening day baseball.
No.
I go downstairs this morning, and you got the 8th inning going.
Yes, it's
no idea.
The 8th inning, exactly. The Dodgers come from behind. They beat the Padres this morning in Seoul, South Korea by the score of 5-2. Mookie Betts on playing baseball and visiting Seoul, South Korea. My son would be very disappointed with him because it wasn't on his bucket list, he said, to go to South Korea. My son will probably end up living in South Korea because he loves that country so much. But Mookie Betts said it was pretty cool. Seoul, South Korea, the home for the opening day of Major League Baseball. So we'll get another game there, and then we'll have to wait for 7 days before everyone else plays.
No, it seems like you and your son and I would enjoy. We get some binoculars, walk up to the DMZ, and take a peek up into those northern neighbors and see what's going on in that debacle.
I think his son might have more access to that kind of stuff than you are, depending on what he's doing.
No, he got lost up there one time, and he looked up there and these Army rock soldiers, Republic of Korea. Yeah, they were saying, "Turn around, go the other way." Oh, he's seen one of those dudes in like a right at the border. They're on the other side of the screen. Yeah, the other side of the window.
I don't think they can express anything.
No, they get the hulkier North Korean guys. You know, they get their Olympic weightlifters there.
Well, that's where all the food's going.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so Major League Baseball is underway. The Royals open a week from tomorrow. They'll be at home against the Minnesota Twins. We'll have it for you here starting at 2:30 on 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM. The Royals will be in action tonight here on the radio. They'll take on the LA Angels. It's an 8 o'clock start tonight, and we'll have it for you right here on KVGB. Opening day next week, and then we have the Cubs at the Rangers next Thursday night. So we got a baseball doubleheader for you opening day next Thursday. Carson DeBose, head coach of the Barton Lady Cougar softball team, talking about her team heading into today's doubleheader with the Pratt Beavers out at Cougar Field. They're 9-3, still right in the middle of the hunt for the conference crown. Butler's good again this year, but not like dominant good like they've been in past seasons, especially that team 2 or 3 years ago that was very, very good. So they'll take on Pratt today. First pitch, 1 o'clock out at Cougar Field, and the second game will get underway around 3 o'clock today. Barton Baseball was in action last night. Yesterday afternoon, they went to Arc City and beat Cali 16-8. I'm sure there's a lot of consternation in Tigerville this morning as they couldn't throw strikes. Barton didn't get a hit through the opening 3 innings. They capitalized 6 walks in the game, generated 3 of their 9 runs. So Barton gets a midweek win over Cali. Good victory, and they're now 19-6 on the season. Cougars host the first leg of a 4-game weekend set with the Pratt Beavers, 1 o'clock tomorrow at Lawson Biggs Field. They'll return down to Pratt to Stanyon Field and take on the Beavers in a doubleheader Saturday at 1. All right, NCAA basketball. We heard Coach Medved yesterday from Colorado State said his team needed to play like cockroaches. Man, they were angry cockroaches last night. The call on True TV, Josiah Strong hitting a bucket, put Colorado State up 32-14 on Virginia. They went on to rout the Cavaliers 67-42. The other play-in game last night, Wagner held on and beat Howard by the score of 71-68. Wagner, not Wagner.
That Virginia loss, it's just kind of the latest in a string of stubbed toes in a tourney for Virginia. They won the title in 2019, but since then, 2 losses in the first round and now a loss in the first 4. Doesn't look too good for the Volunteers. The Volunteers or the Cavaliers. There you go.
They got that cool little sword and hat.
They do.
I don't know who Colorado State gets next, but you can bet the student body's going to show up. Kansas Raid.
They'll take on the Texas Longhorns.
Ooh.
So I guess Raid would work good on a Longhorn. Who's playing tonight? We've got 2 more playing games.
We do
Bucks are one. Colorado's playing somebody.
Colorado gets
Montana State and Grambling.
Okay, I'll take it. I probably won't be watching, but you guys can fill me in, okay, for tomorrow. Jerome Tang. I'm like, okay, we held up this guy. He's there. Caitlin Clark. He's talking about Iowa guard Peyton Sanford. Well, they must not have been able to recognize him on the court. He came out he had 7 3-pointers last night, and Iowa ends K-State season 91-82 in the NIT.
He cut his ponytail. They were scouting a ponytail, and this guy shaved his
Who's
head.
this guy? Let him shoot. Well, he couldn't miss anything last night. I think the rims are just bigger up there at Iowa Hawkeye Carver Arena.
On one end, whichever side Iowa's going towards, they switch it.
They've got rubber rim, and it just, expands out.
Just to protect the credibility of one Caitlin Clark, I will go get her road stats.
So you had to get Caitlin Clark in here. Again, we extend the streak here going on. K-State drops to 19-15, and they back up Mike Corson's claim that they should have been in the NCAA tournament.
That was one of my quick first thoughts, but I'm still waiting to see what Michigan State does against Mississippi State before we get too loud about it.
It's Michigan State. It's Tom Izzo. You know that they're going to go into the number. They're going to go to the Sweet 16.
Gary Wagner pointed out the Big Ten is maybe greater than the Big 12. We'll see.
No. Bill Self with the announcement that OKU fans were not anxious to hear, but Kevin McCullough out for the season for KU, a bone bruise. Now, and I'm sure a bone bruise is very painful, but can't you shoot that up? I mean, I got a Baker's cyst. I went down, took the needle. I'm feeling great.
And I know anytime you have like a bone bruise, it can be a little tricky because bones sometimes don't get the most blood circulation, and that's what's going to do a lot of that healing when you have an injury. And so a bone bruise like that can be kind of tricky, especially when it's in a knee in a sport like basketball where you have a lot of the running and jumping. You're going to be coming down and landing on that. But I don't know, out for the entire tournament, your senior year for the last time, it's a little tough there for Kevin.
They're supposed to have Hunter Dickinson, but tomorrow's not going to really be a Hunter Dickinson game against Samford. On the other hand, they don't have any way they can just slow it down, bring it up, and throw it into Dickinson, and just let him back his way in and score.
Don't fall into buckyball.
And then run to the other end, and then have everybody be on the three-point line to guard the three-point shot.
I got a better thing for McCullough. Instead of the needle, you come in with the little milk cartons from grade school. What are you doing? Fixing my bone bruise.
Hash, can you get some drums over there? You know, if he's going to get the drum roll after one of those.
My bad.
We at least need to program it in for a little button Hesh can push. But then we give him that kind of power if he knows it'll rig up.
The mute button, the kill button like Trading Post, I agree.
That's KU and Samford tomorrow night at 8:55. Pre-game coverage starting at 8 or 8:30. Just tune in on Hits 106.9 about that time. Mel Kiper Jr., see, this is the NFL stuff that you can chat about, okay? It has to do with either the Broncos or the Chiefs. Okay, so he has the Broncos taking Bo Nix at number 12. Go, you have 40 seconds.
It makes a lot of sense for him to get a quarterback. Obviously, sitting with $38 million in dead cap this year, they're going to want someone cheap that they can work with. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bo Nix or Washington's Michael Penix Jr. Nix does kind of have the experience, but two really experienced guys there. The only thing with Penix is some injury concerns you might have. I do like Kiper's comparison to Drew Brees because Nix has shown that composure in the pocket to facilitate an NFL offense and be able to kind of hit those short, quick throws that Brees kind of made a killing of, especially late there in New Orleans.
Okay, that was nice. That was very concise.
35 seconds, I was timing it.
Okay, he feels that time. This will be good because I'm going on we're getting one of those houseboats again this summer, and we're going to have cousin Darren from Colorado Springs, Mr. Bronco fan. Last time they went on vacation with us, and we had the cabin up in Colorado, right? And they had just drafted Drew Lock, so that's all I heard about it. Drew Lock's going to be, so this will be
Missouri's finest.
It's going to be the Bo Nix conversation on this boat. Okay, and finally, Pete Thamel, ESPN senior college football writer. What does a Clemson lawsuit mean for the landscape of college football? Clemson filed a lawsuit against the ACC trying to get out of their grant of rights agreement. The suit, the second against the ACC, joining Florida State's previous legal action. That decision coming after the ACC agreed to endorse a new contract for college football. And that's what Thamel's talking about. Cements it's basically the Big Ten, the SEC get all the money, and everyone else just gets the crumbs.
It feels like the Big 12 and the ACC are still going to be there, but for one of those teams to really be a serious contender, they're just going to have to be dominant. Like, there's going to have to be a team that, rather than comes along every 5 years and can compete in those leagues, one that comes around every 10, 15 years that can actually be a serious contender with the Power 2 dynamic.
Yeah, but with the Big Ten and the SEC, Aaron, like right now it's kind of like, okay, the Major League Baseball draft, right? So you draft all these guys, and you know they're not going to get in, but you've got to draft enough dudes so you can put rum-dums on the field with your guys that are actually going to make it to you, because they can't play baseball, you know, if they don't have enough dudes to play against in the minor leagues. So, they'll let these guys play, we'll get them in, but it's all about us.
So why can't some of the other coaches use that as a recruiting tool? Yeah, you can go to Alabama, but you're not going to play. why don't you come up here to Lawrence or Manhattan? Let's build a program with 22 other guys that aren't going to play at Alabama or...
Well, it's like the NFL right now, and the NBA with no salary caps. Yeah. Okay, whoever gets the biggest more. So
It's gonna be interesting to see how because a lot of what fuels college football is that kind of regional pride. It's gonna be interesting to see how much of that wanes in the face of these new NIL deals.
that is a very, very good point. You lose the West, you lose the Midwest. It'll be interesting. I guess I'll watch, but I've just got to remember this is professional sports that you're looking at.
So we're pinning our hopes on Avery Johnson or Colorado next year.
Where's Jalen Daniels on that?
And that's real.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll throw him in.
Oh, okay, all right. The purple shaded glasses in here again. All right, Mike Johnson coming up next. We've got Great Bend Panthers softball, and later on, I think we'll have some time. What kind of animal, what is it called, that test we all took this morning? What varmint are you?
Spirit animal?
Spirit animal. Yeah, we've got the results. I guess, is that taking the place of annual reviews? Is that what this came from? We got annual reviews coming on. So is this the annual review? You find out what kind of animal you are?
That will be included in the review, yes.
Oh, okay, very good.
Yeah, the animal kingdom is very large. There's like 6 options. The whole building is one of 6 animals. I don't like it.
Okay.
Surprising.
He's just mad at the animal he got.
A dove. Okay, Mike Johnson coming up next.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Amy Herrera, Regional Retail Manager for your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time and I've helped many people navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people. I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you how we're committed to serving you in our communities. At Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Get the power you need for your farm equipment. The power of peace of mind that dependable Cenex lubricants deliver. With decades of proven off-road performance, backed by the industry-leading Cenex Total Protection Plan warranty. Cenex heavy-duty diesel engine oils, hydraulic fluids, gear lubricants, and greases are formulated to provide superior protection for load-bearing equipment. The power you need to keep your business running like a well-oiled machine.
Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor, today.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
Venture Corporation is a homegrown company with almost 50 years of experience in asphalt, paving, and construction, and they need equipment operators, mechanics, and CDL drivers. Venture offers many benefits, including 401k and Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Call Leslie for all the details. Work for a family-owned and family-oriented company that is here today and will be here in the future. Venture Corporation, South Highway 281, Great Bend, is an equal opportunity employer.
In its second decade, it's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back, Sports Day here on the radio, brought to you in part by Advanced Therapy and Sports Medicine. Get your life back. Equity Bank. No ATM fees nationwide. Learn more at equitybank.com. And Eller Automotive Repair, a local mechanic that can help behind Great Bend Appliance Furniture and stores. Very pleased to bring Mike Johnson on the program. And Mike, I was talking to you. See, I was here in 87, 88, 89. There was 2 seasons in there where I did Barton and then went off and circled back around, I guess. And someone told me, said, yeah, Mike Johnson, he was a color guy on the Cougar games.
Yeah,
and he was really good.
Well, I don't know if I was good or not, but I did it a long time. I started with Glenn Grunwald. Did it with Glenn for a number of years, and he left and kind of jumped ship and went to the Blue Dragon Network. And so Tim Gross came on for a year or 2. I don't remember how long he was here. I did it with Tim for the time he was here. And then when Tim left, of course, Sasha took over, and Sasha and I did it. And, back in those days, it's a lot different schedule because now with this loaded Jayhawk schedule, you can't play a lot of road games. But back in those days, we used to go down into Texas every year, over to Missouri and New Mexico, and really long road trips preseason, and 3 or 4 days on the road with Sasha and those guys. It was a real blast. I mean, I have a lot of fond memories of some really exciting fun times we had.
That's a whole nother show, okay? Life on the Road with Sasha Sanguinetti, okay? That'll be the edition number 2. But I just want to talk, just your thoughts on this year's team and how cool it was to see the Cougars cut down the nets. It was really special, 3 years ago when the Cougars got into the tournament, but that was an at-large berth. Be able to cut down the nets as Region 6 champions, the consistency of this team all year, that's so hard to do, Mike.
It has really been truly amazing, and I think what sets this team apart from most Barton teams in the past is their depth. I mean, we can go 10 deep without even missing a beat, and that's critical because everyone can't have a hot hand every game, so it's always nice somebody's able to usually step up. We've had a couple games this year where we've, as a team, that's not shot the ball well, but if somebody's struggling at the line or struggling shooting the three or whatever, it seems like we've got somebody else who'll step up. But defense on this team too. This team isn't known for really playing a lot of solid defense, but that game against Hutch the other night, I don't think I've seen a team play a first half of defense the way they did against Hutch. It was really something to behold.
And that's something that, to go into this, I think I have like 3 all-time career wins in the sports arena, going back to my Pratt Beaver days, and then even here. I mean, Barton beat them 1 year with Dan McGovern, but to go in there and just dominate Hutch the way Barton has, 6 straight wins against the Blue Dragons, that's sweet.
It is. That's the pinnacle of community college basketball is the sports arena in Hutch, and to beat them on their home floor is really something special. And we really had our way with them. I hate to talk about it very loudly because you don't want to jinx us going forward, but we really dominated them the last 6 or 7 times we played them. And, of course, historically over the years, they still lead the series. It's not even close. But recently we've really had our way with them. So.
Okay, and I want to get this in before I forget it because Barton has a lot of coaching trees, people that have been in the program, and one of those is with Moberly. They're in the tournament this year. Pat Smith, when was he at Barton, Mike?
Yeah, Pat was he was at Barton back in the 94-95 season. His record that year was 21-10. He left Barton after 1 year and went to Jacksonville, a community college in South Texas. Pat's team that year started out like a house of fire. They were like 16-1, 17-0 before Christmas, and then we had that vaunted Christmas break, and they came back after the break, and they lost most of the games after Christmas break. Ended up being 21-10 on the season, so wasn't a great year that year for Barton. Of course, they did win 20 games, but, in my mind now, coaches talk about what is a great season. I think at Barton, with our history and the great teams we've had, I really view a good season being a 25-win season, not a 20 season.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're at a program like this. There's so many different things that we could talk about today, so I'm just going to kind of throw this out. I'm going to start with this team because I know you'll remember this, but Barton went up to Indian Hills a few years ago for a preseason classic that they played up there. And it was really neat going into the building, and in their trophy case, there's a picture of a game they played against Barton in the 1999 National Championship game. What do you remember about that 98-99 team?
That probably, you can debate, but that may have been the best Barton team we've ever had. Of course, we had Alex Radojevic, the 7'2", kid that went on and played 1 year at Barton and went on and played, was drafted and played for the Toronto Raptors for a couple years. We had Lamont Rowland, who was an unbelievable scorer, went to LSU after that year. DeMarcus Minor was a really solid point guard, could do about everything at the point position, score, assist, whatever needed to be done. He went and played at Baylor that year after that year. Then we had a couple of blue-collar guys, Joe Firmino. People may remember Joe. He was about a 6'7", muscled-up kid and went and played at Iowa after he was at Barton, kind of the bruiser down low. And we had a sharpshooter named John Carson who played, I think he went and played at Akron after he left Barton. So, we had four Division I players and an NBA player on that team. Indian Hills they were back-to-back national champions going into that year. They'd won 2 in a row.
Wow.
And we played that game. Of course, all the hype with Indian Hills going for a three-peat, and that's the most people I've ever seen in that arena. They actually brought people down onto courtside, and people sat on the floor around the courtside, two people deep. So there were people everywhere. We didn't play really great. Indian Hills came out and shot the ball really well. We did lose that game, ended up getting second place, and that was Indian Hills' third national championship in a row. So, it was a great overall week, but not necessarily a great championship game for us. So,
okay, I can go along with you on this team because I was doing the games then, but it was the year it would have been the 88-89 season. Barton lost their first game in Texas, won 29 straight games before losing to Garden City on the road. That was the game Jackie Jones threw in a three-quarter court shot to send it to overtime, and it looks like Barton was going to win. But if that team would have had some guards, they would have been unstoppable. That was their only. But they had Kenny Williams.
Yep.
They had Jackie Jones.
Yep.
And then Lamar Mateer.
From Los Angeles. The rebounding machine.
I remember Dan McGovern had a stat sheet, and you don't see this anymore. He kept track of dunks.
Yeah.
And it was...
Lamar was an unbelievable player. He only played here 1 year, and he was the kind of kid, he came to Great Bend to play basketball, and that was it. And once we got beat and was out of the tournament, he quit going to class. He literally came here to play basketball. That was it. And unfortunately, he went back to Los Angeles, and a couple years later, he ended up getting into some activity he should have been involved in, and he actually got shot and killed. So he's not even with us anymore. But unbelievable player. I actually have that game on VCR tape. It's called, I just labeled The Game. It's the Garden City game.
You still have that?
Does
it have the play-by-play on it?
No, it's not. It doesn't. It was a tape that Dan McGovern gave me. It's just the school doing the VCR, and it's in not in very good shape. But some of it was just a phenomenal team. That was actually ended up being a double overtime game.
That was double.
Yeah, because Garden sent it to the second overtime. They had a guy named Mike Johnson.
Who
he had 40 points that game for Garden, so he had 40. But it was a double overtime loss, so it was a phenomenal game.
Yeah, and then they went to Hutch. Yeah, and then ended up getting beat by Pratt of all the teams. I'd left Pratt to come do the Cougars. Okay.
Yeah.
What are some of the other players that stand out for you?
Well, the 2001 team also went to the Nationals. They lost the first game out of the box to Wabash Valley. But then they went on and won 3 games after that. That's the old format where you could lose a game and you could still stay all week. So we stayed all week and played, and we actually won the 7th place game on Saturday. But we beat Western Nebraska, we beat Southwest Tennessee, and we beat Northwest Mississippi in that trip. And again, another team that might be maybe the second best team we ever had. We had some players, Udi Baker, remember the name Udi Baker?
Yeah.
Went to play San Jose State afterwards. We had Travis Robinson, went to Jacksonville State on that team. Of course, Eric Bush, who was maybe the best point guard we've ever had at Barton, was on that team as well. Played at UAB afterwards. And then who can forget Ebby Arah? I mean, he had a phenomenal tournament that week, had 52 points against Southwest Tennessee, and went on and played Oklahoma the following year. And, again, was just a phenomenal player for Barton. That was probably the second best team we've ever had talent-wise. But again, this year's team ranks up there as well just because of the depth they've got and the way they play together as a team, that the never quit mentality, and they're going to need that this year because unfortunately they're not getting a lot of hype around Barton. It's surprising. I watched last night the hour-long internet show from the supposed experts from junior college basketball, and they didn't mention Barton one time in an hour. They mentioned
the number 1 seed.
They mentioned what a nice guy Jeremy Combs was, and that's all they said. They spent the whole hour talking about the Florida teams and picking who's going to win here and there. And I kind of got the impression that they all think that Barton will lose the first game to Daytona. That's their mindset, and they picked Cali. One of them picked Cali to win the national championship this year, and the other one had Hutch going to the Final Four. So, whatever. This team has not really been respected, I don't think, a lot preseason this year or throughout the year. So, my guess is Coach Combs will wear that as a badge of honor, and we'll just throw it up and just play hard.
Isn't that amazing? You number one ranked team in the country, number one overall seed, and you go in with a chip on your shoulder.
Yep, that's crazy.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
Coaches back in the Jayhawk Conference days. Casey Malik had the greatest coat toss of all time. He could spiral his coat. You had Dale down at Seward. Dale Reed.
Yeah.
And he spent time here as an assistant at Barton.
Exactly, under Coach Mullen, Andre Mullen, yeah.
Let's see. Who was Garden's coach?
I was just trying to think of that, the older
Jim Carey, yeah.
Yeah, Jim Carey.
I saw it was 1955 on the clock one game in the first half, and his face was already beet red. But, it was...
we had some great games against Garden City back in those days, and got to be really good friends with Coach Carey. And, in fact, when the last game he coached, when he came to Barton that year for his last game to coach at Barton, several friends, Jimmy Lawson and Bill Berryman, they all got together and bought him a bunch of fishing gear and fishing tackle and gave it to him, I think, after the game there on the court. So Jim was a little rough around the edges, but he was a good guy.
And, of course, the legendary, he'd come back for the Thanksgiving tournament every year, the Ransom Rambler himself, Neil Crane from Allen County. He would not last today. He was not the most politically correct guy.
Well, most of those guys wouldn't last today, honestly. So, but Neil had some great teams at Allen County when he was there, and they've really kind of fallen off since he's left. But he had some great. He had an individual. I can't think of the guy's name. Maybe one of the best JC players we ever had in Kansas. Went on and played professionally afterwards. A phenomenal player. Big score. Scored 30. It was pretty common to score 35, 40 points a game. So I can't recall.
UNLV, maybe? I don't know where.
I think he did. I think he did go to UNLV.
Yeah. Okay. This is what happens when old guys get around. He said, "Well, I think I've got that guy." It was really neat to be a member of the Cougar Booster Club and the Cougars Den. I mean, it's like a who's who. You never had problems getting a halftime interview.
No,
because the recruiting was so much different in those days, but there was any coach you wanted to see was always there, and Billy Tubbs was a regular.
Billy Tubbs was a regular. Bob Huggins was a regular. Dana Altman was a regular here. I actually got to know a lot of them over the years. I got to go out and pick up Billy Tubbs at the airport several times. He'd fly in and got to spend some time with Billy 101. And Bobby Knight used to spend a lot of time out here. Of course,
Todd
Jadlow was one of the first players we had that went to a high major D1.
There was another player, Johnson, Andre. Anyway, he took 2 off that team.
Yeah. It was really good times. And again, as you say, times have changed, and D1 coaches don't really recruit the JC ranks like they used to. And but there'll be some down there next week for sure.
It was Jerry Mullins that was when I first got into broadcasting. Okay, I fretted all day long before Pratt came up to take on Barton. It was because I was going to interview Jerry Mullen. I was a young guy, and he scared me to death. What a great man he was, very friendly, but one of the great coaches we've had many at Barton. But and he kept connection with the program too.
Yeah, he was a great guy, great coach. I didn't really know him. I wasn't following the program. I was pretty young when he was here. Didn't really follow him a lot then. But I got to know Jerry very well once he left Barton and started his recruiting service, and would see him around all over the country recruiting, and got to know him pretty well after that. So.
Okay, 2 more things, but you can't get out of here. You've got to tell the Sasha Sanguinetti sitting at the table with Billy Tubbs and another coach when you were down in Odessa for a tournament, and Sasha's table manners.
Well, we were at a dinner, and at our table was Billy Tubbs, and Bob Huggins was at our table, and it's supposed to be a black tie affair. Of course, we didn't have a black tie because we drove in from Great Bend to do the games, but we set table with them, and everybody got through with their salads, and Sasha didn't have quite enough salad dressing, I guess, French dressing. So once he dumped all the dressing out of his little container onto the salad, he proceeded to wipe it with his finger and lick his finger clean. And I remember looking over at Coach Huggins, and Huggins was looking at him and just like, trying to do that look on his face. So
that's all Sasha right there. Mike, feelings going in about this basketball team into the national tournament. How do you feel about their chances?
You know, it's been a great year. I know this year's field is loaded. A lot of high-scoring teams, some great players. I think the consensus, talent-wise, is South Plains probably has the most talented team, starting five. But, again, it just seems to be like we seem to get it done this year. I don't know what it is about this team. They never quit. I think it's going to come down to our defense, honestly. We're going to have to really clamp down on some of these opposing offenses. That first game's always a challenge, just to get it out from under you and get off to a good start. So that'll be critical for us to get off to a good start that first game. But if we can win that first game, I really think we've got a chance to go deep into the tournament.
Mike Johnson, if somebody just told me in 2009 when I came back and was going to do the Cougar games, you'd had an invitation.
Well, you never know.
I can't drive very good. Yeah. Mike, thanks so much.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Okay, Mike Johnson joins us. We're going to talk Great Bend Panthers softball coming up. Head coach Carrie Minton along with her 4 seniors here on Sports Day.
Want to graduate a little sooner? Take online courses with Barton Online and transfer seamlessly to your university of choice without all the hassle. We have 6-week and 8-week sessions starting in February and March. Save tons of time and money and get ahead by taking courses at Barton and transferring your credits. Now enrolling for both sessions. Get started at online.bartonccc.edu.
We get it. Life is busy. It's a constant rush from work to home to sports practice and still trying to have quality time with your family. The latest technology from Nextech Wireless can help keep you connected and organized. Right now, when you get a new phone, you can get an Apple Watch or tablet on us. Stop by a store near you and visit with one of our wireless experts today. Nextech Wireless. Home on the range.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Zach Strite, commercial lender for Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people. I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. At Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC. Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Zach Strite, commercial lender for Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people. I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. At Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
There's nothing like A-STEM therapy. This is Tim Marcus from Progressive Physical Therapy in Hayes. Research shows that A-STEM therapy improves muscle performance and neural functioning. It's highly effective for those dealing with tennis elbow, carpal tunnel, sports injuries, and general aches and pains.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM. Mike Corson joined today by all the Lady Panther softball seniors. We've got Coach Carrie Minton, Paige Sexton, Riley Prilling, Hallie Post, and Kaylee Sheets. How are we all doing?
Good. Doing good.
So, new season. So we'll just start off with the practice process. Spring in Kansas. I can't remember what the weather's been like, but how have these first couple weeks of practice gone?
They've been pretty good. Weather-wise, it's either been really nice or it's been really cold. So, yeah, but towards the actual game, it's been good. We've been relearning all of our plays and just getting back into the swing of things, getting ready to play.
And one of the other seniors, 11-11 last year, 4 seniors back. Lose a couple seniors, but really Annalisa was the big one that you lost. So what are the expectations coming into this year? Riley?
This year she played first base, so we're obviously looking for a first baseman, and I'd like to step up into that role. We also have Alyssa McCauley, so me and Alyssa have been really working hard at first base.
Hallie, I hear some freshmen on this team, and so obviously 4 seniors. What is the role of a senior when you've got so many young kids and this is your last year?
So my role on the team is I just play hard, be a good teammate no matter what the position is. We do have a lot of good freshmen coming up, so we just got to battle that out and be good teammates at it.
Paige, we'll come back to you. Lots of success, school record volleyball season, really good basketball season. That was a core group of senior girls that kind of split up for the spring. What's that like to now you have a whole new set of girls to play with?
Well, I love all the girls I play with, obviously. Playing with those girls for 2 seasons, you get really close, but we all do our own thing in the spring, so we go and leave our marks there and just do our thing.
And we were talking before the show, so you're a shortstop and a pitcher. What does a shortstop and a pitcher do in the off season to up their game for their senior season?
Well, I always try to stay busy, stay at it. It makes it easier to come back during practices, but I stay in the cage. I keep up with my pitches, and I just keep working on my glove on the infield just to keep my skill where it needs to be.
Riley, I know you were a cheerleader at first baseman. How does that equate? Did I see you out there catching fly balls at the basketball games? What does a first baseman do?
So at first base, it's obviously a lot different than cheering. Gotta be.
It wasn't obvious.
Gotta be more into the game and pay more attention.
You guys are paying attention. You gotta know what to cheer. And Hallie, second base, same thing. Kind of a hot spot on the field. So, any transition period and getting ready, maybe getting a little bit quicker.
Well, playing summer ball definitely helps. It helps keep you prepared for what's coming later on in the season. And just like getting out there, taking some ground balls and even some pop flies can just help you get ready for the season.
Kaylee, we'll get you in there. You're a shortstop as well. You've been a manager, so you've kind of seen all sides of it. What is your off-season preparation like?
I coach rec softball, so I keep a positive attitude, and I work with my stepdad with windshields and all that, so I stay active during the summer.
Keeping real busy.
Yep.
Coach, so we've got the 4 here. If we kind of want to run down some of the other ones, because we haven't talked any Panther softball in several months. Kind of want to go around the horn, as we say.
No, we've, it's fantastic coming into the season knowing that we have so much experience coming back, returning from last year. As we mentioned, we lose Annalise, who played a big role for 4 years on our team. But talking about experience returning, we have 3 of them in here that have 4 years of varsity experience or going into their 4th year. We have a large group of sophomores that played quite a bit last year as freshmen. And then we throw in the mix a couple of freshmen, into what we already have. And so we're really excited, moving around the field like you mentioned. We return a junior, Deshauna Bryant, played a huge role for us, continued to improve and hit the ball really well at the end of the year last year. Then when we talk about our other sophomores, we have Braylon Turner, who had a big chunk of our pitching duties last year. Alyssa McCauley filled in there as well. Looking at Denver Ringo, who played third base, Ava Kaiser, who was in the outfield, Catherine Mazouk also played the outfield. I feel like I covered. Did I get them all? Cameron Kelch, Cameron Kelch behind the plate. Catcher's kind of important. So we're returning a lot, and as I mentioned, we're throwing some freshmen into the mix. We've got Chayla Pendergrass, who is going to throw in the circle for us, and will be just another asset when you have that pitching staff. Then we throw Kaya Bear and Camden Post into the mix. We've got backup catchers and Josie Blevins and Ava Carter. So we have such a large group of people that it makes practices awesome because we have a lot of people challenging each other for playing time. But the good side of that is that they know that that's their challenges, and all these girls are stepping up and working to make themselves better and then working to make their teammates better.
Yeah, so looking at the numbers here, I remember can't always see the defense when I see the stats after a game and write up a story, but I can always see the offense. Deshauna Bryant was 482 batting average last year. Her and Mazouk, big power hitters. Paige, you were batting 443 and getting on base over half the time. What's your role offensively this year?
Well, just the same as always. Keep hitting the ball, putting it in play, just getting on, pulling those walks up. Those are nice. It's always good to get on when there are people following me that can put the ball in play and push me around to score some runs.
That's what I was going to ask Riley and Hallie. You got those power hitters. What's your role as somebody who's maybe not going to hit it over the fence, but you can definitely get on base at a good clip? Well, I don't see it on the sheet.
So our role is pretty much to just get on base, so then when we have those power hitters behind us, we're moving around just as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I also agree with that. It's just like putting the ball in play and moving the runners is, at that point, probably the best you can do.
Talking to the Lady Panther softball seniors. So you guys, nice day today. No games, of course. So Saturday, Pratt's coming to town.
Correct.
Going to be a little chilly, and then definitely Tuesday you're going to host Manhattan and McPherson. Enjoy the hot, or you like playing in this cold stuff?
Oh, no way. I would like to feel my hands when I can throw the ball.
Yeah. I said it's a lot easier to play when it's cold because your mindset's a little bit different as opposed to practicing in the cold. Practices, they struggle a little bit with the temps, but, when it's game day, they'll be locked in.
Okay, so 11-11 last year. Big win over Hayes in regional action. Can't say it's momentum because it was several months ago, but just kind of fun. Looking forward to this season to see what you guys can do.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah, it was like you mentioned, it was momentum in the fact that it kind of gave us that mental edge going into coming into this season, knowing that we struggled with a couple of teams in WAC last year, but I think you got over the hump at the end of the year last year. Moving into this year, we're ready to just get rolling.
So that was Lady Panther softball coach Carrie Minton. We also had Paige Sexton, Riley Prilling, Hallie Post, and Kaylee Sheets. Good luck to you guys, and good luck in the cold this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
More Sports Day after this.
From the Mail Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB Great Bend and 95.5 FM K238CK Hoisington.
Central and Western Kansas residents, are you looking for a new vehicle? Marmy Auto Group can make it happen. Marmy Auto Group includes Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep and Ram, Chevrolet, and GMC. Marmy Auto Group, your Central and Western Kansas dealer, has new and pre-owned vehicles, or we can special order your vehicle today. If your existing vehicle needs serviced, Marmy's award-winning service department can help. Come to Marmy Auto Group on 10th or marmys.net. Marmys, make it happen.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
There's nothing like A-STEM therapy. This is Tim Marcus from Progressive Physical Therapy in Hayes. Research shows A-STEM therapy improves muscle performance and neural functioning. It's highly effective for those dealing with tennis elbow, carpal tunnel, sports injuries, and general aches and pains.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Wright, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
Want to graduate a little sooner? Take online courses with Barton Online and transfer seamlessly to your university of choice without all the hassle. We have 6-week and 8-week sessions starting in February and March. Save tons of time and money and get ahead by taking courses at Barton and transferring your credits. Now enrolling for both sessions. Get started at online.bartoncccc.edu.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Sports Day today brought to you in part by Next-Tech Wireless. Experience wireless built by Kansans for Kansas. The Venture Corporation remind you to help a neighbor shop local when you can. and by the Barton Cougar Booster Club, continue their efforts to make the Barton Athletic Department the best in the country. All right, Mike Johnson on the show today. Also, Great Bend Panthers softball. I don't remember a time or a year that there's been as much preseason excitement around both the baseball team and the softball team. I mean, not in recent memory anyway.
No, I was shocked. She gave me the stats from last year. Knew there was some power hitters: Catherine Mazouk, Deshauna Bryant. That's a heck of a little freshman and sophomore class they have coming up that maybe we haven't seen at the varsity level, plus all that group that's coming back.
What about pitching?
She rattled off a whole bunch of stuff, and I will digest that later, but I know Braylon Turner was one of their key pitchers last year. She'll be back as a junior.
And then, of course, Paige Sexton also does double duty in the circle and then at shortstop when she's not there, so can expect to see her. Should be pretty fun to watch some Panthers stickball this year, whether it's baseball or softball. Kind of falls into the vein of Panther sports as a whole this year. Kind of been on an upswing. Started in the fall with football and volleyball having some success along with the cross-country teams. Continued into the winter sports with both basketball teams. Haven't had a chance to go back, but when was the last time Panther basketball had this many wins? Total, like on both sides, combined both sides. It's been a while, so Panther sports looking to really cap off a strong year with a good spring here this season.
Yeah, we can't let Paige Sexton come in without some grief, so Coach wrote down 48 innings pitched, 43 strikeouts. So I don't know if she struck out 43 times or she struck out 43 batters. Braylon Turner threw 36 innings last year, 40 strikeouts. And Alyssa McCauley was your other big pitcher with 15 innings and 21 strikeouts. All these girls that were here basically batting well over 300, some of them well over 400. We obviously had the home run hitters last year. But yeah, Camden Post coming up as a freshman, was already a state wrestler. Some other names in there. It'd be fun to, once we get past this cold snap, we might venture out to the ballpark and actually watch.
Okay, and I want to move this over to track because you talked with Lashley on Monday. So we know the returners and everything that they have coming. So what are some new possible point producers for track and field for the boys and girls? I'm putting you on a spot. You won't want to come back in here.
Sure are. Tavon Stroop was a state cross-country runner, so can't remember what he did in track last year, but obviously that should carry some momentum into the distance events. They lose Caden Esfeld, so you need to fill some of those shoes. Cooper Omont's the big one for me. He's shown his super athleticism on the football field and the basketball court, so I don't know what he's going to be doing, but I think sprinter, maybe high jumper, long jumper. And then on the girls' side, so many of the returners back, but you did have some of those young girls that were running cross-country last year or this year, so be kind of fun. And then he said Kara Feist, she was we called her the barn smeller when she was a freshman. She was the final leg of that.
You did, I didn't.
Oh, I think. Lashley was the one that came up with that.
Yes, okay, all right, okay.
So she ran that final leg of the 4x4 that won state, and she was a 400 kid, but he said she's going to try the high jump this year, so that'll be kind of fun. See if Cassie Elligood was a state qualifier in the high jump last year. Obviously, Sadie was up there. So hopefully Great Bend can get at least 3 kids back in that event.
Mike Johnson was in. He was fantastic. And you always, when you're talking about Barton, there's such a long history of, and you kind of got to don't want to take away from this year's team because, I mean, gosh, 32-1. We've got a chance to go in there. It was really interesting to hear. They had that preview show last night, and the only time Barton got mentioned, they said Jeremy Combs is a nice guy. Isn't that strange? I mean, you're the number 1 overall seed, and you don't. That's the only thing you get said about you the whole time.
They didn't see his glare, evidently.
That team that's number 1 seed and comes in with a chip on their shoulder.
Maybe
they should.
Maybe it's just because there's too much to talk about with Barton when you try to do it. So all they can say is Coach Combs is such a nice guy. If you try to break down the Cougars and all the players who could be putting up points for them, you might be there for a little while.
And I was thinking the same thing. It's the South Carolina women. What have you heard all year at the NCAA? It's Iowa. They got to be coming into the NCAA. So Barton's out here tucked away in the middle of the heartland. They might not get some of those national headlines that maybe those teams in Texas and Indiana.
Yeah, and it's obviously a national broadcast. It's not like you're seeing these teams all the time. Mike Hesher used to. How much did you cover the Cougars when you were at KSN?
We shot some video. I remember shooting a fight out there between Hutchinson and Barton County one year. It was like, oh my goodness, there's a fight going on here. It was whenever KSN called and they wanted video. I can't say that I did a lot of it, but because it was Barton, and they got the schools around Wichita.
I was trying to relive with Mike Johnson. The name I didn't hear, because Joe Firmino was a nice one. I do remember that name. What about Brandon that went to Michigan? He was right around that area. It was always fun because you knew, oh man, this guy's going major Division I. It was must-see junior college basketball.
Yeah, I was wondering where these guys ended up. Kenny Williams was, he was original. He signed to play at North Carolina and ended up here, but you'd expect to see him playing later on in the NBA, but it just never did work out after he left here.
I like the one from Oklahoma that nobody around here could pronounce his name. Mike Johnson said it. Eddie Airy. I don't think people.
Eddie Airy, he went to Oklahoma.
He went to Oklahoma. I don't know if was ever pronounced correctly around here because there was so many different variations of it.
Mike Marzoff was sports information director out there for a long time through all those coaches and on all those players. So good walk down memory lane with Mike Johnson. He's been a free agent out there, color analyst. Holy. Of course, maybe his price went up. That's the reason why we haven't found out. Okay, we have animal names for people here at the studio, part of our evaluation process. We'll tell you who's who after this.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
We're having our annual reviews here at the radio station. And I thought this was the main thing that they're is this a main part?
If you have to answer, you have to tell us what your animal was, yes. And it will go down in the
permanent record.
Yes, thank you.
I wanted to be an eagle.
Well, are there any, if you're a certain animal, does that mean you get a bigger pay bump? Or
no pay raise if you're a certain animal.
So pay deductions if you're a certain one.
Okay, so one of them was a snake. You see any snakes in here, Steve?
There's one snake.
One snake.
I think we all know who the snake is.
Okay, and Becca, part of the morning chick chat.
Okay, so you see any
Becca was a snake.
Do you see any butterflies in this room?
There were 4 butterflies overall, and let's see, Lindsay, Matt, Shannon, and Tashana.
Yeah, Matt Bright made sense. The other ones, I don't know.
Does this?
You look at Matt Bright and you think butterfly. That's
you think? Okay, there was one turtle.
What?
And that was Shalane. She was a turtle. So is she going to get docked on? I mean, does that mean
I can't believe Landon wasn't a turtle. To be honest with you, that's his nickname.
There were 2 deer.
Oof.
Mike Hesher and Aaron Clark. How did they come up to be a deer?
You just got to be patient. Enjoy your surroundings. You know, don't fret about stuff too much.
They're always spooked and looking around and looking over their back.
They're just out chilling in a pasture unless you come up and spook them, minding their own, keeping their head down, and just enjoying some chewing on some grass.
Actually, would have been a porcupine. I mean, right? I mean,
well, the hedgehog.
He kind of goes down the hall slow, and then if you say something to him, he just hits you with one of his needles. Okay.
You haven't had your review yet, so you should be careful.
We'll go out and wrestle right now. We'll just do it that way.
Of course,
there were 3 tigers. Stacy, Landon,
and Webby
was a tiger.
You're part of the pride now.
Okay, so that fits you. Yes, you're a tiger.
Oh, absolutely. You and Stacy and Landon, all 3.
Yeah, I see Landon out there. Row, row, row. Thanks for joining us. Talk to you tomorrow.
Agriculture Today on 1590 KVGB at